The best athletes in the world having the ability to play multiple sports at a high level isn't too surprising, but many of these athletes were so good that they had the opportunity to choose which sport they would play at the professional level. And today we are ranking the top 20 professional athletes in sports other than baseball. In this case, mostly football, but there are a few NBA examples as well, who were actually drafted by a Major League Baseball team, but either decided not to sign, or maybe they signed but played just in the minors before making it big in another sport. So this list will not include the obvious guys who played multiple sports at the highest level, i.e. Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. This list will be about guys primarily known for their career in another sport besides baseball, but they were actually drafted by an MLB team. But before getting into the main list, let's do a few quick honorable mentions. We have Colin Kaepernick, one of the most famous NFL players for more reasons than one, but he was an intriguing high school baseball prospect who could light up the radar gun as a pitcher, and the Cubs drafted him in the 43rd round of the 2009 MLB draft. While he was playing football at the University of Nevada, the Cubs were unable to sway him to quit football, and he continued college instead, and was drafted in the second round of the 2011 NFL draft by the 49ers, and went on to play in the NFL for 6 years. Jameis Winston. Heisman Trophy winner Jameis Winston was a two-way baseball player in high school who could pitch and hit at a high level. The Rangers drafted him in 2012 in the 15th round, but he decided to go to college, and at Florida State, he continued to look like he could have a future in baseball, especially on the mound, where he had a 1.94 ERA coming out of the bullpen for the Seminoles, striking out 8.4 batters per nine in 2014, but he was even better at football and was taken first overall by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Brandon Weeden. At Edmond Santa Fe High School in Oklahoma, Brandon Weeden was a star player for both the football and baseball teams and could have gone to college right away to play D1 football, but instead, he entered pro baseball after he was drafted in the second round of the 2022 MLB draft by the Yankees. He signed for a $565,000 bonus and struggled through 5 seasons in the minor leagues, getting traded to the Dodgers, and he was taken in the Rule 5 by the Angels along the way. He had a great arm, but injuries and underperformance led him to retire from baseball and enroll at Oklahoma State in 2009, where he joined the football team as a backup quarterback. By 2010, at 27 years old, he became the starter, and in 2011, broke all types of school records, leading the Cowboys to an 11-1 record and a Big 12 championship. He was drafted 22nd overall by the Cleveland Browns, but didn't have the greatest NFL career, although he played in parts of 5 seasons, mostly as a backup QB for the Cowboys and Texans. Matt Cassel. Cassel was a great baseball player going back to Little League when his team made it to the finals of the Little League World Series in '94. He attended Chatsworth High School in LA and was a standout in all 3 major sports. He decided to attend college at USC, but he was mostly a backup quarterback and did not throw a single touchdown pass. He made 8 appearances as a pitcher for the baseball team as well, and was taken in the drafts of both sports, in the 7th round by the New England Patriots and in the 36th round by the Oakland A's. With a slightly brighter future in football, he signed with the Pats and slowly moved up the depth chart. After Tom Brady tore an ACL in 2008, Cassel took over as the starter and had a phenomenal breakout season, leading the team to an 11-5 record. He was traded to Kansas City and went on to have a great 14-year NFL career. Scott Burell. In high school, Burell was the star player of the basketball team, quarterback of the football team, and a flame-throwing ace pitcher for the baseball team. He became a top baseball prospect and was taken 26th overall by the Seattle Mariners, but decided not to sign and went to UConn to play basketball. But baseball teams weren't giving up, and in 1990, his name was called again by the Blue Jays in the 5th round. He signed this time with the agreement that he could continue to play college basketball. He pitched for 2 seasons in the Blue Jays system, going 2-6 with a 3.71 ERA and an impressive 8.9 per 9 strikeout ratio. But he decided to quit baseball, focus on basketball, and was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets 20th overall in 1993. Burell went on to play for 8 years in the NBA. Kyler Murray, an active NFL player currently in his 6th season as the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Murray was drafted by the Oakland A's in the 1st round of the 2018 MLB draft and is the only athlete to be drafted in the 1st round of both the NFL and MLB drafts. He hit .296 with 10 homers for Oklahoma and signed with the A's to play pro baseball, planning to attend spring training in 2019. But after winning the Heisman Trophy with the Sooners, he decided to enter the NFL draft, got picked first overall, and forfeited his $4.6 million signing bonus that the A's were offering to play football instead. Golden Tate. Tate was a phenomenal athlete in high school in Henderson, Tennessee, and a star player on the diamond and gridiron. He was selected by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 42nd round of the 2007 MLB draft, but decided not to sign and instead went to Notre Dame, where he continued to play both baseball and football. He hit .329 in 2009 with an OPS over 800 and was drafted again, this time in 2010 by the San Francisco Giants, but not until the 50th round. With a brighter-looking career in football, he signed with the Seahawks, who took him in the second round and went on to have a productive 11-year NFL career, winning a Super Bowl with the Eagles in 2018. Now let's get into the top 20. Number 20, Charlie Ward. When it comes to multi-sport talent, not many were better than Charlie Ward, who was excellent at baseball, football, basketball, tennis, and track in high school. He eventually became a solid NBA point guard who spent 11 years in the league. Before that, he was the star basketball player and Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles. He could have gone on to have a great NFL career, but stated that he would not play football unless he was drafted in the first round. So NFL teams decided not to draft him at all. But the same can't be said for MLB teams, as he was drafted twice on the off chance he might sign. By the Brewers in the 59th round of the 1993 draft, and then surprisingly by the Yankees in the 18th round of the 1994 draft. They drafted him despite the fact Ward wasn't even playing baseball in college. Obviously, he did not sign. To this day, he remains the only player in the history of the NBA to have won a Heisman Trophy.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Number 19, Ricky Williams. Speedster Ricky Williams was drafted out of Patrick Henry High School in San Diego back in 1995 and decided to sign, entering the minor leagues. He was an impressive base stealer with explosive speed, but hit just .211 with 4 home runs over 4 seasons. During this time, he still found the time to play football at the University of Texas, and after winning the Heisman Trophy in 1998, it was clear which path made more sense. He was taken 5th overall by the Saints and went on to play 11 years in the National Football League. Number 18, Archie Manning. College Football Hall of Famer and 2-time Pro Bowler Archie Manning was drafted in the MLB draft not once, not twice, not 3 times,
Not 2, not 3.
but 4 total times. The first was out of high school in 1967 in the 43rd round by the Atlanta Braves, but he didn't sign and went on to play college football for 3 seasons at Ole Miss as the starting quarterback. And the White Sox drafted him in 1970 and 1971. The Royals drafted him as well, but Manning never played pro baseball. Instead, he signed with the Saints, who took him in the first round in 1971. And Archie Manning played for 13 seasons in the NFL, throwing 125 touchdowns. Number 17, Michael Vick. Quarterback Michael Vick played for 13 seasons in the NFL, made 4 Pro Bowls, and was also a standout college football player who finished 6th for the Heisman Trophy. The weird thing is, Vick did not play college or high school baseball, but the Colorado Rockies surprisingly picked his name in the 30th round of the 2000 MLB draft. He hadn't played baseball since 8th grade, but the Rockies decided to roll the dice on an incredibly explosive and elite athlete who could have covered a ton of ground in the outfield. But as someone who hadn't hit since the 8th grade, even Vick was shocked that an MLB team actually drafted him.
I mean, I always wondered what life would have been like if I had chose baseball, but I couldn't hit a fastball, man. Like, just being honest, like, I could steal bases, you know, I can play the outfield, I could pitch a little bit, but I couldn't hit a fastball, bro. My career would have went.
Of course, he was destined for the NFL and did not sign with the Rockies. Number 16, Carrie Collins. College Football Hall of Famer and 2-time Pro Bowler Carrie Collins played for 17 years in the NFL, and like many of the athletes on this list, played all 3 major sports in high school. He had an electric arm and was drafted in the 26th round of the 1990 MLB draft by the Tigers as a pitcher, but he did not sign. He was good enough as a quarterback to be recruited by Joe Paterno and decided to play football at Penn State, where he became a consensus first-team All-American, breaking several Penn State football records. Despite not even playing baseball in college, he was selected 2 more times in the MLB draft, by the Tigers again in the 60th round in 91, and then the Blue Jays took him in the 48th round in 94, but he obviously had no interest, as football was the obvious path forward. Number 15, Dell Curry. The Charlotte Hornets' all-time leader in games played and 2-point field goals is still Dell Curry, who put together a fantastic 16-year NBA career in which he finished in the top 10 for Sixth Man of the Year 6 times and won the award once in the 93-94 season. Back in high school, he was the star basketball and baseball player, and he was so good at the latter as both a pitcher and hitter that he was drafted in the 37th round of the 1982 MLB draft by the Texas Rangers. He decided to play basketball in college instead and became the starter for Virginia Tech, where he was named Player of the Year his senior season. He also pitched for the Virginia Tech baseball team and was selected to play pro baseball again, this time by the Orioles, in the 14th round of the 85 draft. But he decided to stay in college and was eventually taken by the Utah Jazz 15th overall in 1986. But Dell Curry eventually did get a chance to play professional baseball when the Texas Rangers single-A team, the Gastonia Rangers, allowed Dell and Hornets teammate Muggsy Bogues to suit up for a minor league game on a one-day contract in June of 1991. The owner of the Gastonians also owned the Hornets, and he thought this would make an amazing promotion. The game sold out, and Dell started the game throwing 3 innings, allowing just 1 run on 3 hits and a walk. He struck out 4, including back-to-back strikeouts in the 2nd inning. Scouts clocked his fastball at 85 miles per hour. Muggsy didn't fare as well and struck out twice, but did make a nice play at second base. Unfortunately, the game was called after 3 innings due to rain. Number 14, Kevin Johnson. The 5-time All-NBA star played for 12 years in the NBA, made 3 All-Star teams, and scored over 13,000 points, averaging at least 20 per game in 5 separate seasons. A year before he was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 1st round, he was also drafted by the Oakland A's in the 23rd round of the 86 MLB draft. He even signed and played in 2 games with the single-A Modesto A's, but went 0 for 2, scoring 1 run as a pinch runner before retiring from baseball to concentrate on basketball. A wise decision, as it would turn out. Number 13, Ray Guy. Ray Guy is to this day the only punter enshrined in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He attended Thompson High School in Georgia, where he was a multi-sport star, playing football, baseball, basketball, and track. His punting skills were insane, and he averaged around 50 yards per punt, a bigger number than most NFL punters, but he was doing it in high school. In basketball, he routinely scored more than 30 points per game, and his future also looked bright on the mound, as Guy completely dominated the opposition and even threw a 15-inning shutout in the state playoff semifinals in 1969. He was taken by the Reds in the 14th round of the 69 draft, but decided to attend college at Southern Miss. He became one of the best punters in college football, but continued to pitch and continued to dominate, striking out 266 batters in 200 innings. He even threw a no-hitter. In 1971, the Houston Astros drafted him, but he did not sign. And in 72, it was the Braves who took a shot at him in the 17th round. Finally, in 1973, he was drafted for a 4th time by the Reds again. He never signed with any baseball team. But when he became the first ever punter drafted in the 1st round of the NFL draft, he did sign to play with the Oakland Raiders. Guy played his entire career with the Raiders, mostly in Oakland, but also 5 years in Los Angeles, receiving 7 Pro Bowl selections and becoming an all-time great punter in NFL history. Number 12, Joe Theismann. Theismann lettered in baseball, basketball, and football at South River High School in New Jersey. He accepted a scholarship to play college football at Notre Dame, but also played shortstop on the baseball team in 1970. He absolutely thrived on the gridiron and was an All-American in contention for the Heisman. He set multiple school records, including passing yards in 1 game, passing yards in 1 season, and touchdowns in a season. He was selected in the 4th round of the 1971 draft by the Dolphins and the 39th round of the 1971 MLB draft by the Minnesota Twins. It turned out he didn't sign with either teams. Negotiations broke down and he entered the Canadian Football League, playing for the Toronto Argonauts. Eventually, he did make it to the NFL with the Washington Redskins and played for 12 years, winning the MVP in 1983. Theismann would have likely played much longer if not for a career-ending injury in 1985 when he was sacked by Lawrence Taylor during a game on Monday Night Football against the New York Giants. Number 11, John Lynch. Two-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, and Super Bowl champion John Lynch put together an impressive 15-year career as a defensive back in the NFL. Before that, he played football, baseball, and basketball at Torrey Pines High School in San Diego. He was recruited by Stanford and became a Cardinal, playing for both their baseball and football teams. He was mostly a backup quarterback for his first 3 seasons, appearing in just 8 games. Frustrated with the lack of playing time, he decided to pursue baseball after being drafted in the second round of the 1992 MLB draft by the new expansion team, the Florida Marlins. He started 7 games for the low-A Erie Sailors in 1992 and had a 2.15 ERA. Lynch had the honor of throwing the first pitch in the history of the Marlins organization. In 1993, Bill Walsh, the new head coach for the Stanford football team, contacted Lynch and told him he wanted him to return to Stanford, but as a starting safety, as he saw talent in him others didn't. Lynch agreed and became an All-American and the 3rd-round draft choice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1993. Number 10, Hines Ward. Career Pittsburgh Steeler Hines Ward put together a fantastic NFL career as a wide receiver, making 4 consecutive Pro Bowls and winning 2 Super Bowl rings. At Forest Park High School in Georgia, he was not only a standout football player, but also an outstanding outfielder with a powerful bat. He was taken by the Florida Marlins in the 73rd round of the 1994 MLB draft. Instead of going that route, he went to the University of Georgia to play football, where he had 149 career receptions for a total of 1,965 yards. He holds multiple Georgia records and looked to be a potential first-round pick until it was discovered he was missing an ACL in one of his legs, the result of a childhood bicycle accident. The Steelers took a shot at him in the 3rd round, and the rest is history. Number 9, Mark Brunell. 3-time Pro Bowler Mark Brunell always had a powerful left-handed arm that he not only used to become an elite quarterback, but also to dominate batters as a pitcher at St. Joseph High School in Santa Maria, California. Not surprisingly, he was a star basketball player as well. "I'm basically known as a jock," he once joked as a high school senior. As a baseball player, he went 10-2 with a 2.18 ERA and 84 strikeouts in 74 innings. As a hitter, he hit .470 with 20 RBIs. He won his local district's Player of the Year award, and if it weren't for his strong commitment to play football at Washington, he would have likely been taken in the MLB draft out of high school. Instead, he went on to play football at Washington, but after a knee injury, he lost the starting quarterback job to Billy Joe Hobart, and the Atlanta Braves decided to take him in the 44th round of the 1992 MLB draft as a pitcher in a desperate attempt to see if they could bring him back to baseball. Brunell stuck with football, and after Hobart was suspended for violating NCAA rules by receiving over $50,000 in loans, Brunell got the starting job back and was eventually drafted by the Green Bay Packers and went on to have an extremely successful NFL career. Number 8, Steve McNair. Years before Steve McNair became a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2003 MVP, he was one of the best baseball players on the Mount Olive High School team in Mississippi. McNair was a shortstop who caught the attention of then Mariner scout Dan Jennings. Jennings said he was Adonis, a muscular kid, athletic build. "I'm thinking, this is my day. The baseball gods are shining on me." Jennings convinced the M's to draft McNair in the 35th round of the 1991 MLB draft. McNair and his family sat down with Jennings to discuss the contract. He was offered a $15,000 bonus, but after hard consideration, decided not to sign and instead pursued a professional football career. Number 7, Ken Stabler. Ken the Snake Stabler was a well-rounded athlete at Foley High School in Alabama, averaging 29 points per game in basketball, leading his football team to a 29-1 record as the starting quarterback, and dominating as a left-handed starting pitcher for the baseball team. He was recruited by the legendary Bear Bryant to play football at Alabama, and he also played for their baseball team at first under the tutelage of Hall of Fame shortstop Joe Sewell. In 1966, Stabler had a 1.44 ERA in 25 innings, striking out 25 batters. He also led the football team to an 11-0 record. The New York Yankees drafted him in the 10th round of the '66 draft, but when they showed up at his house to negotiate the contract, no one was home. A neighbor told him that he decided to return to college. He was suspended in 1967 by Bear Bryant for missing classes, partying too much, and skipping baseball practice. He eventually quit baseball altogether, but was drafted again in 1967 by the Houston Astros. Stabler considered signing, saying he would go with whoever paid him the most money. But when the Oakland Raiders drafted him to play in the NFL, he decided to go in that direction, as the Raiders were a winning club at the time. He won the MVP in 1974 with Oakland and put together a 15-year Hall of Fame NFL career. Number 6, Patrick Mahomes. One of the top quarterbacks in the NFL today. He might be much higher on a list like this after he retires, but as of now, he comes in at number 6. Mahomes has played 8 seasons in the NFL and already has 2 MVPs, 6 Pro Bowls, and is well on his way to a Hall of Fame NFL career. He has led the Kansas City Chiefs to 6 consecutive AFC championship games and 3 total Super Bowl wins so far. He was a top football and baseball prospect back in high school in Texas, receiving scholarship offers from Texas Tech, Rice, and Houston. But Mahomes was also drafted as a pitcher by the Detroit Tigers in the 37th round of the 2014 MLB draft. He was only taken so late due to his strong commitment to Texas Tech. Mahomes decided not to sign and went on to play football and baseball at Texas Tech. He was drafted 10th overall by the Chiefs, signed with them, and has become one of the biggest superstars in the NFL. Number 5, Russell Wilson. The still active quarterback Russell Wilson recently returned from injury and is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers as I record this video. But the veteran is in his 13th NFL season, and with 9 Pro Bowl selections and a Super Bowl ring, he is likely a future Hall of Famer. He was an all-state high school football star in Richmond, Virginia, and also good enough at baseball to be selected by the Orioles in the 41st round of the 2007 MLB draft. He did not sign and instead continued to play football and baseball at North Carolina State. In 2010, he hit .306 with a .929 OPS, prompting the Colorado Rockies to draft him in the 4th round. This time he signed and spent 2 years in the Rockies minor league system, hitting .229 with 5 home runs and 19 steals in 93 games. In 2012, he was drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in the 3rd round, and Wilson became the starting QB for Seattle, a position he held for 10 years before moving on to Denver and now Pittsburgh. As for his baseball career, he was traded to the Rangers and appeared in some spring training games but never played for their minor league system. In 2018, the Rangers traded him to the Yankees so he could make one at-bat in pinstripes as he grew up a Yankees fan, and told his dad that someday he'd play for the Yankees. He made the at-bat in 2018 spring training but struck out on 5 pitches against Max Fried. Number 4, Marshall Faulk. From this point forward, it's nothing but the best of the best. Pro Football Hall of Famers like Marshall Faulk, who played 12 years in the NFL and became one of the best running backs in the game during the early 2000s. Faulk won the Offensive Rookie of the Year award and made 7 Pro Bowls, also taking home a Super Bowl ring. He was a standout football player, baseball player, and track star at Carver High School in New Orleans. He accepted an offer to play running back at San Diego State and finished 2nd for the Heisman in 1992. Despite not playing baseball since high school, the California Angels decided to take a waiver on him in the MLB draft for his speed and explosiveness and took him in the 43rd round. Obviously, he did not sign and continued his football career. Faulk did sign with the Indianapolis Colts, who took him 2nd overall in the '94 NFL draft. He went on to become one of the greatest running backs of all time and was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame his first year on the ballot. Number 3, John Elway. Coming in at number 3, we have the great John Elway, whose awards and accolades are too long to list. He was a dual threat quarterback going all the way back to high school, where he also excelled at baseball as an outfielder and pitcher. If he wasn't so good at football with a heavy commitment to Stanford, he would have likely been selected higher than the 18th round, but that's where the Kansas City Royals took him. He obviously did not sign and went to Stanford, where he continued to play both sports. As a quarterback, he was a consensus All-American who set virtually every Pac-10 and Stanford career record for total offense and passing. but he was no slouch as a baseball player, hitting .349 with 9 home runs and 50 RBIs as a sophomore. The New York Yankees drafted him in the second round of the 1981 MLB draft, and this time he signed. George Steinbrenner planned to have him in the Yankees lineup by 1985, and he showed huge potential in the minor leagues, hitting .318 with an .896 OPS and just 25 strikeouts in 151 at-bats in low A. The clear potential for a baseball career gave him leverage when the Baltimore Colts drafted him first overall in 1983. Elway did not want to play for the Colts because of a losing culture and a preference to be closer to the West Coast. They eventually traded him to the Denver Broncos, where he spent his entire 16-year career, winning an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, 2 Super Bowl rings, and 9 Pro Bowl selections. He was elected to both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame, and never played pro baseball again after that one season in 1982. Number 2, Dan Marino. The 1984 MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, Dan Marino played 17 years in the NFL and is 7th all-time with 420 passing touchdowns. He led the league in passing 5 times and was a 9-time Pro Bowler, widely considered one of the greatest QBs of all time. He attended Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh, where he was not only a star football player, but also a top prospect as a right-handed pitcher. Despite a commitment to the University of Pittsburgh, the Kansas City Royals selected Marino in the 4th round of the 1979 MLB draft, 99th overall. Marino did not sign and instead went to Pittsburgh, where he played in every game for 4 years, accumulating 8,597 passing yards and 79 touchdowns. He was elected to the College Football Hall of Fame and, of course, after his legendary NFL career, the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. Number 1, Tom Brady. Coming in easily at number 1 is the consensus greatest quarterback in the history of football, Tom Brady, who played for an insane 23 seasons in the NFL and holds a multitude of offensive records, including completions, yards, touchdowns, and games started. He is a 7-time Super Bowl champion and 15-time Pro Bowler and future Hall of Famer. He was an impressive player at San Mateo High School in California, but no one could have predicted how good he would become. As a baseball player, he was a catcher with an obviously tremendous arm, but also a powerful bat. The Montreal Expos selected him in the 18th round of the 1995 MLB draft and, in an unusual move, invited him to Candlestick Park during a road trip to work out with the team. The Expos front office considered him a future all-star at a minimum. Some scouts thought he could become one of the greatest catchers of all time. They offered him a huge bonus, the size you would normally see in the 2nd or 3rd round, but ultimately, Brady decided not to sign and ended up playing football at the University of Michigan. He spent 5 years at Michigan, but only started in 2 of them for the football team, and was a solid, but not otherworldly quarterback. He wasn't drafted until the 6th round when the New England Patriots called his name in a move that would change football history. 198 football players, many of whom never made it past the practice squad, were selected before Tom Brady. He was the last active professional athlete drafted by the Montreal Expos. And that'll do it for today's video on some of the greatest athletes in sports history who were also good enough baseball players, or at least had the potential to be great baseball players, and were selected in the MLB draft, but made their fame in another sport. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope it was entertaining, especially for NFL fans. Let me know your thoughts down below and any other players. I know you're going to do this anyway, but let me know players that I might have missed. And I appreciate everyone checking out the video. Have a wonderful day. Hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you in the next one.